So my name is Shawn Nason. I am CEO for the Nason Group, a boutique consulting firm, and have previously been a healthcare executive and an education executive in the innovation space.
Can you reflect and share about your personal state of mind at the beginning, starting the Innovation Center at your organization?
Yes, so looking back to the first Innovation Center I started, which was about 3 years ago, my state of mind was absolute terror. Had no team, had no budget, and was going into an industry in higher ed that didn't even understand what innovation was and what a Center for Innovation was to look like. So it was a terrifying experience, but was probably the biggest learning experience as an executive, which took me into the next role in my career, and took a lot of learnings from that into that, but it was still an experience to get another Center for Innovation started.
How have you personally and professionally engaged in starting your Innovation Center? What was symbolic of the change?
Personal growth, as starting two innovation centers now in my career, is to learn that you have to have a team, and that you can't do it on your own. So personally, it was to identify areas in my own life that I knew I needed help surrounding to make it happen, as well as professionally. And one of the big things over the last 2 years I've learned is the power of yes, and equipping your teams and equipping your colleagues and your associates with the power of yes as an executive. And that has really been transformational in my personal and professional career. So what was symbolic of the change was to see great success from both areas, both Centers for Innovation that I've been a privilege to start, taking a different mindset into the second one. It was very symbolic because we ran at the same speed but had much greater success by, again, as an executive, saying you're equipped, you're empowered to do what you need to do.
What are common expressions around your organization in regards to the benefit of your Innovation Center?
So water cooler conversations. First off, buzzwords. You hear a lot when you're around the water cooler. Disruption is one of those buzzwords. Synergies, co-creation. And what we heard, particularly in the last Center for Innovation, and really in both Center for Innovation, that was keys to success is the ability to move fast. And then also giving the permission space for people to fail. Particularly in the last one in the healthcare space that we started, we walked into a culture, and I walked into a culture that did not give people the permission to fail. And we started to build a culture that said, go out, experiment, learn, fail. And that started to become a buzz around the building and around the water coolers.
What evidence or proof of success has your Innovation Center delivered or planned to deliver?
So, big thing when I look at Centers for Innovation and focusing on the consumers is you have to completely change your mindset from return on investment to a return on innovation. And those metrics look very different. You can't be driven by finances and by financial means, although they are very important. So my career, I started as a finance person. But the measure for success for us is to begin to see consumers' lives impacted and changed, and to see as an organization how we culturally changed. So in our last Center for Innovation, we called it The Hill. We started with 3 principles, which were to know me, to surprise me, and to make it easy. And those 3 principles became our measurements and our measurements for success. So much so that we moved those principles into the values of our organization. And that was a pretty cool thing to just simply say to people, Measure by if you know the person, if you're surprising them, and if you're making it easy for them.
What encouragement would you give to leaders of organizations in regards to upcoming Center for Disruptive and Innovation Technology?
Wow. So the encouragement I would give to people is to run fearlessly. Don't be concerned about what the organization is doing, and know that you're going to ultimately impact a culture. So both of our Centers for Innovations that I've been privileged to start, I had to go in and not be concerned with what the culture was, and know that we had to build a new culture, and give people a space to just be themselves, and to think differently and to be free in what they want to do and to be creative. And as that happens, you will begin to affect the culture within the organization. Some of them, I would say one of mine had great success in that. One of mine, the culture was scared and didn't know how to take it. But to run with a passion and a fearlessness to say, we're going to do this. And then I always tell people, make sure that you're just doing cool shit that matters.
Are there any words of caution or wisdom that leaders should consider in regards to their upcoming centers?
So this is a hard place to be. My caution to leaders is not to run so fast that you leave everyone behind. And that is only from personal experience. It was both of my Centers for Innovation that I was able to help start with the teams are great and were exciting, but in particular one culture that we were in, we ran too fast and left many people behind. Do I regret it? No, but just be very cautious when you're doing that, to be aware of the people around you.